So I have been told to wing it. So we're winging. If you'd like to stand, we'll sing our call to worship. It's pretty easy. I think you'll get the hang of it. What I bring to you is the best in me. My prayer for highest possibility. I am that I am, showing up, rejoicing in the I am, shining in you. What I bring to you is the best in me. My prayer for highest possibilities. I am that I am, showing up, rejoicing in the I am, shining in you. One more time. I bring to you is the best in me. My prayer for highest possibility. I am that I am, showing up, rejoicing in the I am, shining in you. In the I am, shining in you. In the I am, shining in you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of Traverse City. My name is Michael Robold, and I'm the worship assistant today. And as I look out, I see a lot of familiar faces, but I notice that there might be some new folks here, and if it's your first time, we certainly are glad you made it. Seems like half the town is gone. I don't know why they'd leave, but oh yeah, spring break. Well, it gives us more quiet, calmer driving conditions, unless you're on the Grandview Parkway, then forget it. So let's go through the announcements, and as Carol said, we don't have screens. Technology, what it is. So you just have to pay attention to my words. The Compassionate Groups and the Compassionate Choices group is going to be having their monthly meeting Wednesday, and Marianne would like to give you a little more detail on that.
Hi, I just wanted to invite everybody. We're going to have our monthly meeting at Stonehound Brewing in Acme, just for kind of a fun get-together. And for those of you who don't know about the Compassionate Choices group, it's based on the teachings, some forgotten teachings of Charles Fillmore about the interconnectedness of all life. And so we gather together to support one another in choosing compassion in our thoughts, our words, our daily choices, and extending that compassion to all beings. And so if you'd like to join us, that would be wonderful. We have meaningful conversation, and there'll be good food. And so I hope you'll consider joining us this coming Wednesday at Stonehound at 6 p.m. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marianne. Think about someone who you would like to bring and perhaps introduce the Unity principles, or maybe it's someone you know that has come here, but we haven't seen them recently. So the whole idea is to bring a friend, and there's a potluck afterwards, so you can also think about what you might want to bring. That's going to be April 21st, so we've got a full 3 weeks to work on that one. And there will be a sign-up sheet in the lobby soon. Not quite there today, but that'll give you the opportunity to think about what you might want to be bringing as that potluck item. If you're interested and are not currently a member of Unity, there is going to be membership classes, and it's interesting because some of you have come here after having attended Unity churches elsewhere. And if that's the case, you are only obligated to take one class. Otherwise, if you're totally new to Unity, there are 3 classes that will provide you with more in-depth details of what we're all about. And those are going to begin on April 14th. 3 classes. They'll meet right after the service at noon, and a great opportunity to get more in-depth understanding of what is Unity all about. Most of you already have figured that out, but again, if you're someone who's been in Unity for a while elsewhere, you only need to come to the 2nd class. And then we'll have a welcoming ceremony in May on the 19th for all those who go through the membership classes. The Dead Sea Scrolls, that's something that you may have heard about, and but maybe you don't know too much about it. So there's going to be a 3-week series. The scrolls happen to be our oldest copies of the Bible. In fact, we have one right here, but it's supposed to be a joke. I mean, anyway, moving on. This is a course that will tell us more about the Jewish texts and provide some insight into the Jewish history, culture, and religions before and during the time of Jesus. So this class will meet Monday evenings, April 15th, 22nd, and 29th from 6:30 to 8, and I'm going to assume it's right here. And then we have a couple of announcements that I'll turn over to other people. So Yvette, you are the first one.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Yvette Babin Ringsmith, and I, along with Kelly Lambert, Brenda Bartz, and Marianne Cacaglia, serve on your ministerial search committee. Since the search began, we have been working hand in glove with Unity Worldwide Ministries in both posting the position and in connecting with any potential candidates. I realize right now, potential candidate is really redundant with any candidates. Unfortunately are not a lot of candidates out there right now. We've had a couple, and most recently we've had one. Upon further dialogue and review, the team determined that it wasn't the right fit, but we're really excited because we know that the right person is coming our way. We're grateful for our board, for Libby Robold, in bringing us and continuing to bring us such great speakers, such as he today, Homer Nye, and all of the other great speakers that we have. So thank you for giving us that space to await for that perfect person. Thank you.
And I know there are some of you who are perfectly happy with the situation as it is, because as Yvette said, we have wonderful speakers. Homer Nye will be our guest speaker today, and many of you have enjoyed hearing him, and perhaps some of you have never been here when Homer spoke. So we're all looking forward to that. And you're on, Libby.
This is what we call the board minute. Sometimes it's a real minute and sometimes it's several minutes. But after we have a board meeting, we always like to give a little report back to you, kind of let you know what we're up to. There's no way I could tell you all the things we covered last Sunday. It was quite a meeting. But it's so fun being on this board, and it's an all-women board right now, and boy, are they getters. And we have so many things in the works and so many things underway. But we just want to mention a couple things today because you'll hear about many of them are things that you have brought to us. And one is that we are looking for what we would like to call a facilities team. And we would love some volunteers that would help out with things around the building here, things that a lot of people are helping out in many ways, but we need somebody to kind of coordinate all the things that make this facility work well. So if that sounds of interest to you, if you would chat with any one of us, we'd love to hear from you. And Michael mentioned the guest Sunday. If you know of anybody that's been missing a couple weeks, we encourage you. We're going to make sure that we do a good follow-up on folks that haven't been here for a couple weeks at a time. We do that in our own business. If somebody misses classes for 2 weeks, we call them up. How are you? Where you been? You know, it's an interesting life. You never know what's going on for people, and they might need some support and love. Yeah, and then just looking ahead to next week, Easter Sunday with Reverend Judy Grimes. We'd like to decorate up here with some Easter lilies, and if any of you want to buy one and bring it in and donate it for decorating the service, of course you can take it home afterwards if you like. That's an option for you. And otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. We have many things going on, and if you're curious, please ask any of us on the board. We're really happy to share and talk about it. And Molly, did I miss anything? Okay, good.
If you'd like to stand, we'll have to use the book today. It's number 28 in the little book, little black book. You can share. Walk with me, take my hand, talk with me. This is the way of life together. Share with me your concerns, care with me for all the people of the earth. Oh, we were meant to be living in harmony, my friends. I promise I will be listening understandingly. Oh, walk with me, take my hand, talk with me. This is the way of life together. I think you can shout out of that one.
This is a test of your memory.
Mhm.
It's the affirmation that we say together. So I will read it, and then we can say it together. Every atom of my being is invigorated with healing life. Together? Every atom of my being is infused with healing life. Is there another song now?
I think there's a prayer first.
Oh, you know what? The prayer was supposed to come first.
That's okay.
Oh, well. So just relax.
How long have you been here, Michael?
I don't know. This is a time to go within. The time to just let go. Let go of cares. Let go of worries. Letting go of schedules. It's just the time to turn your attention inward. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to be very comfortable. In this case, we're sitting. So all we want to do is relax the shoulders. Feel the breath moving in, the breath flowing out. And if we close our eyes, we let go of the outward focus and just give thought to what's going well in my life, what's going well in the world. There is so much to be thankful for, and yet so easy to let our minds and attention be on what's wrong, what's not going well. But when we come to that place where we feel our connection to the Creator, the Source, the Provider, then we truly feel within ourselves that spark of life, that Christ essence. And we recognize the connection that has always been there, that will always be there. And for this, we truly are thankful. Amen. I guess that was a prayer.
This is the prayer of St. Francis. I know you don't have the words up there, but many of you will probably know it. So. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there's darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving of ourselves that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life.
Okay, I'm back on track. Now it's the meditation. So once again, I invite you to go to that place within. And let's take a look at the different aspect of what this day is all about. Palm Sunday. So think of your hands. Think of the palm of your hands. And bring those palms together. And then gently rub them together. And then place one or both hands on your heart, sending that warm, loving energy that resides within you, that comes through your palms, your hands. And then give thought to someone near and dear to you. And extend your hands forward with the palms facing in the direction, so to speak, of that individual. That individual might even be here. It's all about each of us utilizing the power that is within us to heal, to comfort, to help another person. And then perhaps we bring the palms back to our heart. And again, feel that connection as we go into the silence, giving thought to our own healing, our own individual capability to help others and to certainly help ourselves. The recognition of the energy that lies within each of us, and knowing that that energy is capable of doing so much. That energy comes through to others in the face that we express, through eyes and words that we speak, and certainly through the actions, all coming from that place within of our heart center. And as we give, so too do we receive, taking in from others that energetic vibration. And the beauty is that we have the power to deflect any energy coming to us that is not working or will not work on our behalf. And as we know and as we've practiced, we have that power to make a difference in this world. And for this we are grateful. Amen.
Hello, Lord, it's me, your child, and I have a few things on my mind. Right now I'm faced with big decisions, and I'm wondering if you have a minute, 'cause right now I don't hear so well, and I was wondering if you could speak up. I know that you tore the veil so I could sit with you in person, hear what you're saying, but right now I just can't hear you. I don't doubt your sovereignty, I doubt my own ability to hear what you're saying and to do the right thing. And I desperately want to do the right thing, but right now I don't hear so well, and I was wondering if you could speak up. I know that you tore the veil so I could sit with you in person and hear what you're saying, but right now I just can't hear you. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I think you are telling me to wait. And though patience has never been mine, Lord, I will wait to hear from you. Oh, Lord, I'm waiting on you. Right now I don't hear so well, and I was wondering if you could speak up. I know that you tore the veil so I could sit with you in person and hear what you're saying, but right now I think you're whispering.
Thank you, Carol. I'll turn it over to Homer Nye.
Well, excuse me. Well, thank you for putting up with me again. That's good. Just a couple things I was thinking about as I was sitting there. Kind of the confusion about the service. Well, in my 40, almost 50 years of ministry, I've forgotten every part of the service. The most striking one, they wouldn't care if I forgot the sermon, but the most striking one being right after communion, we would have the offering. And I was so caught up in communion, I went straight from there to the benediction and left. Somebody finally yelled out, "You did forgot to." Okay. All right. There's a couple plates back here, just fill them in. So, yeah, we all forget everything. And then the other thing about contacting people, I remember being at some sort of conference, and it was about not contacting people. And if someone, this is Rotary Club or whatever, church, whatever, if someone misses 4 weeks in a row, and then you call them, there's an 85% chance you'll get them back. If you wait till 6 weeks, about a 15% chance of getting them back. The reason being that in that length of time, they have filled that space with something else. And so then you have to, in a sense, buy them back, which is a whole different game. And I don't mean money, but you got to convince them that they need to give up what they have taken on. Anyway, there's just a couple things went through my mind. Anyhow, it is Palm Sunday, and I never quite know where to go in my mind for a sermon, to tell you the truth. I always say sermons are where you find them, and this sermon began to be found in the New York Times, oddly enough. And not under any of the outstanding analysis of the day or reports of the day, but it was in an article in the Times a couple weeks ago where someone had discovered the real answer to one of the great controversies of married life. Now, there are lots of those, but one of which many couples really get at each other about is whether the toilet paper should be over or under. And I'm not kidding, this is an article. And the guy who wrote it was very, very serious. And he definitely said that over is the only way, because when it's under, your hand hits the wall and gets some germs on it. Well, I thought to myself, oh, well, what about the germs that are coming up here, guy? You know, so I kind of discounted it. I figured he didn't know what he's talking about. Anyway, why did that set me off other than I thought it was kind of funny? It reminded me that there are really always two sides to something, really. And probably more than two sides if we look at a lot of things, many sides. But at least two sides, and in terms of today, there are two sides. And that is, what do we call today? Palm Sunday or Passion Sunday? Now, typically, Palm Sunday, in at least the Protestant traditions, has been a kind of an exuberant, uplifting, rah-rah kind of day. Here comes Jesus sort of stuff. And that's fine. But what we tended to do was turn Palm Sunday into a celebration, which in a sense could be. And we did all sorts of things to make it upbeat. You know, one way to make anything upbeat is get children involved, you know. And so we'd have palm processions with the children going all around. Of course, that really makes everybody feel good. That's kind of upbeat. And then the psalms, I mean, not the songs, the hymns we use on that day are mostly upbeat. Like, all glory, laud, and honor to the Redeemer King, to whom the lips of children, you know, sing. Rah, rah. Hosanna, loud Hosanna, the little children sing. In Jesus there is a blissful, eternal rejoice. Now, they're positive, nothing wrong with being positive, that's fine. But what brings people to Palm Sunday? And what is the real purpose of Palm Sunday? And so we Protestants kind of took it on the head, so to speak. Because the Catholic Church didn't see it that way from way back when. And we Protestants too, when we were honest enough to look at ourselves. What we were doing was we were having one really great celebration on Palm Sunday and skipping to an even greater celebration on Easter. And we were missing everything in between. The Catholics didn't do it that way in history. The second Sunday before Easter was Passion Sunday, where they focused on what's going to happen. And then there was Palm Sunday to lead into the week. Well, Protestants take a while to catch on to things, so I think it was in the 70s or thereabout that some of the hard-headed Protestants decided that, okay, we can call this Palm Sunday, but it's in remembrance of the Passion of Christ, or something like that. Well, that really didn't go far enough. It was kind of skipping over the topic. You know, we don't want to get into that gory stuff of the week. Two celebrations are nice. But eventually, sometime in the 90s, the Presbyterian Church, and we weren't the only ones to do this. We were probably one of the last, but in the 90s sometime, when you look in our lectionary, which are the prescribed scriptures for any given day and a Sunday, it no longer said Palm Sunday. It said Palm/Passion Sunday. Because you should be leading into the Passion, not jumping from one celebration to the next. You know, you skip over a lot of stuff when you go from one celebration to the next. I mean, the whole arrest of Jesus, Garden of Gethsemane, the crucifixion. I mean, you can just totally avoid that. And quite frankly, that was easier to do. Oh yeah, everybody had a Good Friday service, usually a community sort of thing where you had it in the community because you probably couldn't get enough people if you did it by yourself. You know, it was there, but it was skipped over pretty much. So is it Palm Sunday? I mean, there's a real argument that it's Palm Sunday. But I also understand it's Passion Sunday. So like the toilet paper, is it over or under? That's how this all started. In my brain, anyway. And even though we now, most churches now, even if they don't call it Passion Sunday, they have become aware that there's an awful lot of important stuff between those 2 days. And then Easter comes and it's one great celebration, and then, you know, it's like all of us, regardless of the fact that we've been spending the whole week on Passion, Easter comes, and a few days later we've forgotten all about the Passion. We remember the Easter lilies and the Easter eggs and whatever. It's easy to forget about the Passion. It really is. But it's important because the Passion reminds us of a couple things. First of all, it reminds us of the whole story. You know, without the Passion, so to speak, that comes from the Latin passio, meaning suffering. Without the Passion, it's pretty easy to have a sweet Jesus. Oh, that reminded me, I was in seminary, Pittsburgh. There was a full-page ad. How'd that go? If you want pie in the sky, then Reverend Dan is your guy. Well, Joel Osteen isn't too far from that. And a lot of people aren't. I mean, because everybody wants that. You know, sweet Jesus. Jesus, come into my heart, make my life better, rah, rah, rah. Well, there's a lot of truth to that can happen. But what about the Passion? Do we reduce Jesus to just a fun guy? So it reminds us that Jesus is more than just that. It also reminds us that each one of us is called not only to remember what Jesus went through, but each one of us is told that we need to do it too. Yeah. Yeah. It's not just something he did. Oh, what he did is wonderful. No getting around it. But what did he tell his disciples over and over and over? If you want to bear my cross, you need to follow me. And following me means bearing the cross, carrying the cross to the crucifixion. One time, it's more well known when Jesus said that, was that Jesus was talking to his disciples, and he said to them that it was important to go to Jerusalem. Oh, no, we don't want you to go there. Don't go there. In fact, they were very upset with him right before he goes to Jerusalem. His good friend Lazarus has died. And that's going out where he might be found, and his disciples, don't do that, they're going to get you, don't do that. But he went. And so Peter says, kill you? Kill you? No, Jesus. And what does Jesus say? Get behind me, Satan. You don't know what you're talking about. And then he says, if any of you want to be my followers, you must forget yourself and take up your cross and follow me. That's pretty explicit. Of course, we people need to rethink what it means to take up the cross, because we've kind of dumbed it down. Yeah, we have. Someone has a sore elbow that nobody can fix. Oh, this is my cross to bear. Okay, yes. A lot of inconsequential in the big picture things. People say, oh, this is just my cross to bear. Then they expect to be patted on the back for it. But sometimes it goes way beyond that. Sometimes it's a very painful, awful thing that they are carrying around with themselves. Very painful, very awful, hurtful. And they carry this. And yes, I think that's a cross. But Jesus went deeper than that. Now, again, in years of ministry, I've been involved with, so to speak, many suicides. And sometimes they were children, where there's an accident and a child is killed. Now that's a heavy burden to carry throughout your life. I don't think you ever lay that down. But as heavy as that is, Jesus went further. He said, we must be willing to die, not just to feel pain, but to die. To totally forget ourselves and only focus on others. Now, if you take Jesus seriously, then even if you don't buy into all the theology, which is just we humans attempt to understand things, people who get, I'm this theologian, they all have something interesting to say, but none of them are very perfect. Anyway, if you want to get down to what this is all about, it's really about following Jesus, not about holding on to some theology or some biblical passage, whatever. It's about taking up a cross and being willing to forget yourself totally, because you are helping someone else. And that may result in your death in some cases. I came across an interesting reading. I'm just going to read it to you because I can't say it as well, to be honest. This was a daily meditation I had. In the ancient Zoroastrian religion, worship was liturgically connected with flowers. Flowers in the Christian worship are only used for decoration, especially at weddings and funerals. Yet flowers are the soul food. They're food to the soul, just like food to the body. A bouquet of flowers in the house, or even a single flower, is not a luxury, but a sacrament of soul food. Blooming flowers are typically objects only for the eyes to behold. But the next time, this gets a little Buddhist here, but the next time you're near a flower, pause to smell its scent and let your nose pray. An inexpensive spiritual exercise is to obtain a single flower and to engage in conversation with it. Flower talk requires sensitive ears. If you're patient, it can be a very rich discussion, especially if you ask the flower how it feels. You might be surprised to hear it say, I'm dying, you know, since I am a cut flower. Yet I feel it is a gift for me to give my life so that yours will be more beautiful. That's taking up the cross. That's forgetting yourself. I'm a cut flower and I'm dying, but I'm here to make your life better. a small way perhaps. But the real question in all this is it actually possible to totally forget ourselves? Reinhold Niebuhr, a very well-known theologian and ethicist. He was born in 1892 in Missouri, I think. He came from German parents who actually were raised in Germany. So he was part of the sort of the German, I can't even remember what they call it back then, church, which eventually evolved into the United Church of Christ. I mean, it took 100 years, but it did. Anyway, Niebuhr was a Reformed theologian and ethicist. And one kind of side comment to what Niebuhr provided everybody was the serenity prayer. Serenity to accept things I can't change, courage to change what I can, and wisdom to know the difference. That was part of a major prayer that he gave in the 1930s. And it's been excerpted. That's fine. Some people think it goes further than that, but everybody now agrees. It was Niebuhr. But what Niebuhr really did was he talked about the difficulty, and he believed near impossible, and usually impossible, ability to totally give of ourself, never expecting anything in return. Now he said, the problem with that is, and here he was talking about the fact of what we would call sin, what he really called self-love or pride. And he would argue that even as I totally, I think, give myself to someone I love, am I expecting something back? If you're dating and you don't get something back, come on. Is there anything we do where we don't expect to get something back? Which is really saying, hey, this is for me. Well, okay, Ukraine. It's interesting to hear the talk about Ukraine, and trust me, I'm fully behind helping them out. But what do you hear? Well, we got to help those people, which I totally agree with. It's terrible. But, you know, we also have to do it to save democracy, which means saving our own butts. It's getting something back. Nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it is. Niebuhr wouldn't say that's wrong. He said that's just reality. I've had some interesting confrontations with friends. Several of these friends I had breakfast with for probably 30 or 40 years. And I've been in a book club with them for 20 or 25 years. So we really know each other. And we often are blunt with one another. And so the big topic of the day, the coming election, came up. And in this group that are mostly pretty open people, there were several people who said, I can't stand Biden. I'm not voting for him. I don't care what. I hate Trump, but I hate Biden. So I'm going to vote third party or I'm not going to vote at all. So I said to them, okay, you're not going to vote for Biden, and I don't care whether you like him or not, but you're not going to do that. You're going to vote third party, but why are you doing that? Are you doing it because then you can say, oh, I feel so good about myself. I didn't vote for that son of a gun. I didn't vote for the other guy. I sure feel good about myself. And then I said to them, okay, let's think about that. Most things we do in life have unintended consequences, don't they? Okay, you can very self-righteously say, oh, God, look at me. I'm so good. I never voted for either one of those jerks. But by not making a choice, you're opening the door to Trump. And so I said to them, okay, so you're going to not vote, or you're going to vote third party, and you hate Trump. Are you expecting me and other people to do what you don't have the courage to do yourself? You're hoping we'll carry the day for you, and you can go off and say, wow, I'm so neat, I voted my way. Ugh, nonsense. Utter nonsense. So I said to them, well, if you do that, there's one of two things. You love yourself so much that you can't do the right thing, or you're secretly a Trumper and you don't want anybody to know it. So you're just opening the door, even if you didn't vote for him. Well, that was an interesting discussion. We've had a lot of those, and we all leave friends no matter what is said. But did we do anything without wanting something back? Do we not vote so we can feel good, get something back? You see, Niebuhr would argue that it's almost impossible for an individual to be totally altruistic. Now, he says it happens. People jump off a bridge to save somebody, and they die doing it. And he goes, it happens, but not very often in just ongoing life. And then he wrote a book. It's kind of an interesting book called Moral Man and Immoral Society. Because he argues that if we have trouble doing this as individuals, it's impossible to do as a group. The group will always protect itself, somehow. Well, a lot of people said to him, you're so negative, man. You're really negative. And he was being interviewed on television sometime in, I don't know, 60s maybe. And the person said, you've been so negative. Come on, look at life. Don't you wish you'd given a different title to that book? And without even thinking, he says, of course. It should be Immoral Man and Even More Immoral Society. Well, he also then is, I don't know if father is the right word, but he coined the word Christian realism and political realism. And he came to this over his ministry. He was in Detroit for a long time. And what he was saying upset everybody, because he was saying two things. He was saying to the conservative side of the church, hey, you guys are just fooling yourself. You got as much sin as everybody else, and you're just being self-righteous. Don't you see that? And he said to the liberal side of the church, you guys aren't accomplishing crap. Okay, you got this utopian thing out here. You stand on the corner with a sign that says love, 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 and then you go home and feel good about yourselves. Well, that's not right either. So he was arguing one that we can't sell Christianity down the tubes by finding a way to make it happy for ourselves. And that's what's happened with the evangelical Christians today. Not all of them, but some of them have jumped over the cliff. And if you read it, what they say, in reality, they have replaced God with their own distorted image of what America should be. They are worshiping that, in my opinion. Of course, I do the same dumb thing over something. I guess I'm just saying that those in the church who do not think that at all are letting ourselves be labeled that way because we aren't standing up and saying, hey, look, those guys are wrong. Now, there are plenty of evangelical Christians who didn't jump over the cliff. I have a lot of friends. But then he challenged the liberal with saying, you know, your own self-interest, sin, pride, is going to get in the way. It will. So you are never going to be able to reach utopia. Never. You let utopia be your guide, but you work for something else. Let love be your guide, but realize you're never going to come to perfect love or get anybody to come to perfect love. But you can get them to justice, because justice is love made real. And that's how he spent his life. Now, not everybody liked him. He went from being a pacifist back in the 20s to changing his mind as World War II came on and as he saw other things. He was always willing to confront himself. And I said, well, gosh, what am I going to do about this? What should I be doing about this? And that's when the Christian realism, okay, I hate to say this out loud, but doggone it, if we don't do something, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So I think being on the more liberal side of life, that instead of standing on the street corner and proclaiming love, 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 which needs to be proclaimed, I need to use that as an impetus to work for justice, because that's the only way love's going to ever be made real, ever. Well, I also believe that most of us would like to have a life that is fulfilling, that means something, that we feel good about. And we do a lot of things to do that. But I think taking Jesus seriously and giving up our life and self for others will really lead to the fullness of life. What's the old Rolling Stone thing? You can't always get what you want, but if you try, you might get what you need. And that's how I look at this. Do I want love? Yeah. I'm going to try. And I get justice, I'll be just as happy. So, never an easy decision to do that. Even Jesus, you know, if you go through that week, even Jesus in the garden prayed, God, Lord, if possible, let this thing pass from me. I don't want this cup, God. Who doesn't? Who does? None of us. So it's not easy. But I think it's more than important. It's essential. Amen.
Thank you so much, Homer. Well, I'll take a look at the itinerary and recognize that I'm not going to forget the offering. So, without the screen, we have to call on our memory, because we all know that each and every time we come here, and when we don't come here, the church continues. We are missed, but at least it's not just about what we take out and put in the basket. It's all about giving what we feel is affordable, what we feel the church needs to continue on as it has for, oh, we've been here 30-some years. So, holding whatever you are planning to give, and again, Sometimes we may use a credit card in advance, so nothing is put in the basket, but it's there. It's short, so we can say it in two parts. I'll read it together, or I'll read it first and then we'll say it together. I am grateful for the infinite, everlasting life that expresses through me each and every day. So, together, I am grateful for the infinite, everlasting life that expresses through me each and every day. We also have a check from Unity as we tithe as a body of individuals. And this is going all the way across Lake Michigan to Greenville, Wisconsin, Great Lakes Unity region. So.
Woke up on the wrong side of the bed, the wrong side of the room, the wrong side of the world. I can't put my finger on the mood. It's not melancholy, anger, or the blues. Ooh. And I love my husband, my house, my job. Couldn't be any better. And really, what else is there? Then I realize I'm forgetting God. It's the root of all my misery, Lord. First of all, how is it between you and me, Lord? How is it between us? How is it between us? When did I talk to you last and what has happened since? Oh, how is it between us? How is it between us? When did I talk to you last and what has happened? When I wake up, I am on my way, reinventing the wheel and saving the day. And I've learned this lesson 1,000 times. I am the branch and you are the vine. Oh, and apart from you, we are mice and men with our fancy dreams of grandeur and no way to get there. And I can think about you now and then, or I can make my mark on eternity. Oh, how is it between you and me? Oh, how is it between us? How is it between us? When did I talk to you last and what has happened since? Oh, how is it between us? How is it between us? When did I talk to you last and what has happened? So let the wicked prosper, let the oceans roar, let the mountains crumble and fall into the sea. There's something more important weighing on my mind. Lord, how is it between you and me? Oh, how is it between us? How is it between us? When did I talk to you last and what has happened since? Oh, how is it between us? How is it between us? When did I talk to you last and what has happened? When did I talk to you last and what has happened? When did I talk to you last and what has happened since?
thank you group. What are we called? Carol's Boys or
No,
the band?
I think the band's taken.
Well, thanks again for participating today. And if, again, anyone is here for the first time, there are little booklets, packlets that our greeters would be glad to give you one. And I didn't check with Homer before, but would you like to say a closing prayer or not? Give you a choice. Okay. So as Homer stands to give a closing prayer, why don't we stand and gather in a circle? And I'd ask that as we're thinking about people and places and situations around the world, next Sunday, Easter Sunday, our guest speaker is Judy Grimes, and she's going to have a procedure tomorrow. So keep her in your hearts and minds.
Lord, we are truly grateful to have been here with one another today, to experience your community and to sample your inner peace. Now, as we go on our own way, may the love you have for each one of us and for every person in this world be our guide. And may your peace, grace, and hope be with us. Amen.
Remember, we have chaplains if you need some individual time, healing prayers and concerns. We also, of course, have refreshments at the other end of the building. And anybody have anything to say that I left out? Or how are we doing, Carol? All right. Want to take hands? And let's start with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.